Today, I've handed the reins over to you. What could possibly go wrong? That's right, you guys have determined what the 10 best fragrances released for men so far in 2025 are. So hopefully you guys have good taste. We'll see. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Everything I talk to you guys about is going to be linked in the description below, so feel free to check it out down there. And we are going to be going from 10 to 1, which means that the number one fragrance easily got the most votes and the most mentions. And when I say easily, I do mean easily. And I don't say this very often because it's just like a stereotypical YouTube thing, but the results were shocking. It's like Mr. Beast circa 2015 or something, I don't know. So we begin with number 10, the fragrance that just barely snuck into the top 10 best releases of the year so far, Coach for Men Eau de Parfum. Specifically, Tom Myers said, Coach EDP, nice. Or I think it was specifically Coach for Men EDP is nice. And this is gonna be one of those ones that probably finds its way into a lot of people's rotations over the years because it is going to eventually drop down in price. And even at full retail, Coach is not that expensive. The scent itself is a little bit similar to things like Sauvage Elixir, actually, kind of playing around in that same playground as that scent. It's maybe not quite as aggressive off the top, not quite as in your face, but it still has that really masculine, wearable, strong, spicy, woodsy sort of scent profile. As I said, it's very nice smelling, it's masculine, it's classy, it's easy to wear. It's kind of like a 3-season fragrance for me, more like fall, winter, and spring, daytime or evening. And you could actually pull that off in more formal occasions as well. And a lot of times when it comes to Coach for Men, people think of it as just like kind of a throwaway cheapy line, you know, making really versatile blue fragrance adjacent type of scents. But this one has a nice dose of sophistication to it. So we're starting off pretty good. You guys have not botched it right from the get-go, so that's solid. Number 9 is Bad Boy Elixir. Analog 784, for example, says that he got Bad Boy Elixir, thinks it's one of the best, and he also wants to try Polo 67 EDP. And I have to agree, Bad Boy Elixir, that would be in my top 10 designer releases of the year so far too. Bad Boy is one of those lines that from time to time will catch a little bit of hate. A lot of that is gonna be down to the name and the bottle style. You know, it looks like a Paco Rabanne fever dream came to life. A lightning bolt bottle because reasons. But yeah, this is very Rabanne-esque, right? It's a loud bottle. It's made to get attention in the store because you're like, whoa, what is that? That's so cool. But as time has gone, I don't care. It's whatever, you know? A little tacky, sure, but it actually works pretty well. Like that atomizer, that's not bad. I'll take a cheesy looking bottle with an atomizer that works really well over a plain rectangular bottle with an atomizer that just dribbles like an old man's yeah, we don't need to, you get the idea. I'll take the atomizer that works, thanks. So Bad Boy Elixir, very much in line with the original Bad Boy, with Bad Boy Extreme, you know, that kind of cacao, somewhat nutty scent profile, but made better, higher quality, better performance, just the whole thing. To me, Bad Boy Elixir is the pinnacle of that Bad Boy DNA, right? That style of fragrance. If you want the best one that smells still similar to how the OG smelled, that would be this. I think it's really, really nice for fall and winter time. Great evening scent, big attention grabber, just a solid fragrance for me. So 10, 9, 8 is Stronger With You Parfum, which I kind of expected it to maybe be a little bit higher, but still, top 10, pretty good. I guess, actually, you start thinking how many fragrances actually could qualify for this, and you're like, well, yeah, we'll still be positive here. Top 10, pretty good. DV Instapic says that this one became his favorite in the line. And it's one that my wife absolutely loves as well. She thinks it smells great. It is gonna be what you would expect from a parfum in a line. By that, I mean it's gonna be a little bit bolder, a little bit deeper, a little bit richer. It does have sweetness, but it's not quite the same as like Stronger With You Intensely. Like that one is gonna definitely have more of a, like an in-your-face, not necessarily sugary, but quite sweet scent profile. This one has more of that almost like reined in, slightly smoky aspect going to it. So you could approach this as like a slightly more mature Stronger With You, but absolutely if you're younger, you can pull it off as well. And in typical Stronger With You fashion, it's got a pretty good push to it. It's gonna last, it's gonna project, absolutely more of a fall, wintertime type of scent, but it's not really a surprise, is it? So Stronger With You Parfum, coming in number 8. Now, some of these fragrances are already at discounters, some of them are not. But as time goes, of course, they will all eventually matriculate and find themselves for sale for less than full retail. Which, if you're somebody with patience, which is not me, I'm pretty bad about that. I'll see something that I really want and I'm like, I could wait, you know, maybe pick that up a little bit. I'll just get it now. But if you do have patience, then you should pick these up from discounters when they do arrive there. And of course, I do have codes for a multitude of discounters to save yourself some money. I said discounters, right? Not elixirs, discounts, yeah. We got hooked up with a big 15% off from Gift Express, and then also 15% off at Intense Oud, which has more clone fragrances. Gift Express, though, big discounter. They got pretty much everything. Perfume Box, great discount code for there. And then the JOMASHOP codes, those work only within the JOMASHOP app, so do be aware of that. And they change every quarter. You're the only ones that keep changing it. Why do you change it? How can she change?
How can you stop? How can you stop? How can she stop?
We're moving on up. We're getting closer to the top 5. The next choice, Extra Dose. Take yourself a little extra dose of that Born in Rome. Jay Daniel goes on to say that it is his favorite this year. He thought it was redundant to own initially, but the more he wears it, he really enjoys the strong shower gel vibe. That is an issue with some fragrances with more and more flankers coming out. They're gonna have some similarities to things that came out in the line before them. So for some people, some stuff will be redundant, where you smell it and you're like, it's not different enough. Of course, when you wear them side by side, they will be different. It's just, some people would rather have everything be quite different instead of a little different. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think so. So this does have a big old blast of lavender. Yes, sir, it's got a lot. And it does have similarities to Born in Roma Intense that came out before it as well. It is really strong. Like, I think the strongest across the whole Born in Roma lineup. Like right now, it's projecting like a monster off this little strip right here. And even though it has really strong performance, it has versatility as well. Sometimes when you have a fragrance that's really strong, you might kind of notch it down a little bit versatility-wise because it can be overwhelming in some situations. But the way this smells is super appealing, really easy to wear. And this is probably gonna be another one that over time gets a little bit more popular. I think a lot of the Born in Roma fragrances, that's kind of how they've come to be. Like on initial smell, initial wearing for myself and other people, some of them have been like, okay, but they'll have similarities to other things, whether it's in the Born in Roma line or other fragrances outside the line, like Yellow Dream having some similarities to Stronger With You, for example. But then as you wear them more, you're like, this is pretty good. I'm gonna have to rethink my life. So I could see that happening with this one too. Number 6 is a doozy. Number 6 is one that I think is possibly the most divisive, potentially polarizing fragrance on the whole list. It is Terre d'Hermès Eau de Parfum Intense. James Epler, for example, says that this fragrance is not just the best fragrance of this year, but is the best fragrance of the last few years. Basically saying in recent memory, this is the best designer release, period. And like I said, I know a lot of other people are gonna say, this? No. It's a little divisive. For who it works for, crushes. For those that it doesn't, ooh. So this is done by Christine Nagel. And you know, when it comes to Christine Nagel, it's like with her Hermes releases, she's kind of like fighting uphill because everything gets compared to what Jean-Claude Elena did before she took over. So it's like every release almost, it's like, bleh. Some of them are genuinely really good though. But there's some I also don't like, so I'm part of the problem. So this has an interesting note of lava stone. And no, they do not go grab a lava stone and just kind of pulverize it and put it into some perfumer's alcohol and go like, hey man, there's the lava stone accord, go ahead and throw that in there. It's essentially just marketing to an extent, you know? It's like, oh, this is a fiery mineralic kind of accord, you know, that kind of thing. And it just sounds cool to say lava. You've also got some citrus in here, woods, of course. You can't have a Terre d'Hermès without that. You have kind of an anisic scent profile in there as well, kind of mixing together with everything. It's another one that kind of hits me as a 3-season fragrance, fall, winter, spring. You could pull it off during summer, but if it's really hot, I'd probably go something else that's a little bit more refreshing. It does have like a certain minerality to it. It doesn't have as much of like an overt earthiness as some of the other Terre d'Hermes that came before it. And as I said, it's gonna be one that is probably gonna be very much love it or hate it. And younger guys probably are not gonna like it quite as much as like middle-aged and older. We've reached the top 5, and at number 5 is this Acqua di Gio Elixir. Now this year, Armani is loving themselves some Elixir. They've been hitting the bottle, the Elixir bottle, and they wanna share it with you and me and everyone else on Earth. So they gave us Acqua di Gio Elixir, but they said, no, that's not enough. Let's go ahead and hit them with the code Elixir as well. And that one I don't have in my hands just yet. I placed an order on Armani's website like late last week, as of when I'm filming this, as if anybody cares. But it's supposed to be here in a few days, so we'll see. By the time this video goes live, that video will probably already be live, so let me know how I think it is. But yeah, Acqua di Gio Elixir, obviously pretty big release. Any Acqua di Gio is a big release, really. It's one of the most popular fragrance lines ever. That kind of like blowback where people are getting a little bit tired of the Elixir moniker being slapped onto everything in existence. Which, I get it, like Elixir is established at this point. It's basically like the new Parfum, almost. But in a way, it's not the new Parfum because it's just adding on after the Parfum now. But I get it, like you have a really popular, successful fragrance line, right? And you're thinking to yourself, I gotta put out a new one. I want something that's, you know, the top of the line, the halo release in the line. Everyone else has done Elixir and they've made a ton of money. I'm gonna do that too, because I like money. Actually, that's all I care about. Elixir it is. Buy my fragrance. So yeah, that's what ends up happening. Everybody comes out with Elixir, you know. So they want to get in on the Elixir train. You know, they saw all the other brands do it. And now they're like, oh, I want an Elixir too. They're just a little late to the party. Younger Weisserman says that this is actually the best in the entire Acqua di Gio lineup, the tops, the Titty McGee's, the #1. It has a little bit of like an Aqua Fahrenheit kind of feel to it. I mean, side by side, obviously quite different, but if you were familiar with Aqua Fahrenheit when it existed before it got, then you might get that kind of aspect when you spray this on. You might be reminded of it. That sort of violet that one has, or had. It is fresh, has decent density to it, as you would expect. It's also a little expensive. I think the bottle looks pretty slick, actually. I really like the paint on the inside kind of look, like Narciso Rodriguez style. It was one on first blush, first impressions that I did enjoy, but was not my favorite in the lineup. But I will say that as time has gone on and I've worn it a little bit more, I've come around to like it a little bit more too. Not as much as Parfum, not as much as Profondo Eau de Parfum, but I could see it sliding up the scale a little bit. #4, Gentleman's Society Ombre, which this one is definitely more of like a fragrance person's fragrance, I feel like. Michael Stiles, for example, says that this stuff is fantastic and he's been wearing it a little bit more this time of year, getting all kinds of compliments while wearing it. It's fairly rich, a little bit bold even. It's got that kind of iris narcissus mix with tobacco and amber. Has this really nice, almost like dark honey sweetness that kind of snakes through from the opening into the dry down. To me, the best Gentleman's Society. Like the more that I smell this, the more I like it. Absolutely. It's another one of those ones that kind of just sticks in your brain, you know? Like the more you smell it, the more you're like, that's really good. Oh, it's better now. Just something about it, I don't know. Gentleman's Society Extreme, those were both solid. But I preferred, you know, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, Reserve Privé, Eau de Toilette Intense, Boisé, like all of those. But with this one, I think you can take it, pop it up against those other Gentleman fragrances, just as good. Top-notch stuff. We're in the top 3. Think, what do you think they are? Like what is missing from here that will be here? Well, #3 is Guilty Love Edition. Golf Buddy 1969 says he loves floral fragrances and that this one is fantastic. Or I think terrific, he says officially. And I also really jive with Love Edition. This is one that I fully expected to kind of suck because of all the Love Editions that had come out before this. None of them really grabbed me in a huge way to where I was like, oh, I really want to wear that. Like, it's fantastic. Not that they were awful, to be fair. It's just they weren't ones that, you know, I would put up as the best of the year potentially. But this one, this one I really like. At its heart, white floral fragrance, nice sweetness, very well balanced, smooth, clean, very classy, like kind of buttoned up in a way, smells upper market. It's not your more typical, you know, citrus bomb kind of fresh fragrance, not your more typical lavender, geranium, clary sage kind of thing going on. Instead, juniper, orange blossom, kind of an amber woodiness there in the base. Smells great. Number 2 is Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir, which Nafal, which hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, said he didn't think he would ever be into a fruity leather fragrance, but now he absolutely is. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way with this one. Of course, the initial thought, mine as well as a lot of other people's, was it's gonna be kind of like Tuscan leather, kind of like Azzaro's form of Tuscan leather, because it's a leather fragrance with raspberry. So pretty easy to kind of put 2 and 2 together there, but that's not how it smells. The stuff is a monster as far as pulling positive attention. It also has a garbage atomizer. Ugh. Remember what I was saying earlier about atomizers? This is an offender. That sucks. That's pretty much the only part of this that sucks, but still, it sucks. Fruity, smooth leather, really attention grabbing and masculine as well. The raspberry just gives it this kind of like playful edge, especially off the top, you know, helps balance things out a little bit so it's not overtly leathery. Because I know there are a lot of people out there that love themselves some leather fragrances, but some of them are not the easiest thing to wear. You know what I'm saying? You spray something on, it's like animalic or dirty or like an overly oily kind of leather. A lot of people will not really jive with that. It's not gonna work for them. So you wanna balance that out a little bit if you want it to be more wearable, more versatile, which is what they've done. Smells amazing. Another one my wife is in love with, so yeah. Now, number 1 crushed. Like this was easily, far and away the number 1 choice. It was mentioned more than everything else, had more upvotes than everything else. It is Polo 67 Eau de Parfum. And what's funny about this is like the first comment when I pulled everything up was from M. Marlowe. And he said, this may not be the best, but I'm feeling Polo 67 EDP. And then I scrolled down just over and over and over and over, Polo 67 Eau de Parfum. So as I said, easily this was the number 1 choice, and it is a great smelling fragrance. I really like the Eau de Toilette. I think it was solid, affordable, and just, you know, super easy to wear, big compliment puller, a little bit aromatic, fruity, sweet, woodsy, just great stuff. Just easy to wear, don't have to think about it, grab spray, go. And the Eau de Parfum, to me, is an improvement, at least as much as it can be. You have this great opening with citrus and pineapple, a little bit of fresh spice in there like cardamom. As it dries down, it does have more of a woody aspect to it. It comes through a little bit more clearly in here compared to the Eau de Toilette, a little bit deeper, a little bit higher quality. The opening, to me, is a little more attention getting because that citrus that's in there just kind of amplifies everything in the Eau de Parfum. Nice balance of sweet and fresh initially, which works so well. It smells great. It's not like gonna be anything that's world changing in the sense of it being like, you know, super artistic or boundary pushing or anything like that. But as far as just giving you what you want, positive attention, versatility, performance for a good price, this does all of that. So Polo 67 Eau de Parfum, your choice for the best fragrance so far. Now, obviously, these are all like from the first half of the year. That's usually how it goes. Like as soon as the calendar ticks over, you get a bunch of announcements. Like you get just an insane number of new fragrances being announced back to back to back to back to back to back. And then it kind of slows down. And then in summer, you get some more announcements, some more releases, but not as much as at the beginning of the year. And kind of when you hit like late fall, you don't get a whole heck of a lot past that. You get maybe a new thing here and there, but for the most part, you're not gonna get any other massive releases. So while I would expect a number of big releases still yet to come, Those are probably gonna be in the next few months, and then after that, it's gonna slow down a lot. So a lot of these that you're seeing right here probably will be toward the top of the best of the year, regardless of what else comes out. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you everybody that took part in this video. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.